Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your headsets because we actually have an Englishman speaking English quite clearly on the podcast this evening. Shane is enjoying himself listening to some form of popular music band in the genre of his choice. But us on a Thursday night, we're here as per usual. We are the committed three. I miss you really, Shane. Have a wonderful time tonight. It is myself, Mr. Philip Perrins, live for my 5-lesson school day with interventions afterwards, joined with me by always one of my friends, one of my closest allies, Mr. Butler Henderson, and on his last night before he goes on his very exciting trip tomorrow with a girl, we have baby Hope. He's now gone the same colour as his 49ers jersey.
Oh, why did I come online? Why did I tell you guys about this?
Because we're like your family.
Yeah, we are like. I actually speak to you more than I actually speak to my own family.
I'm literally crying in tears. That's brilliant.
I love it. Now, Shane's obviously not here, so I will do my due diligence as being the residential talking head on the show. Now, we think with it being the off season, it might just be a little bit quiet around the NFL teams so far, but so much has hit the fan in quite a short space of time in the last 4 days? Because we got together on Monday night and just had a wee chat about what we were going to discuss this week, and then boom, every single thing hits the fan going forward. So where do we want to start first? Do we want to talk about like the big news in Denver, or
I say we start with the big news at the Bay.
Yeah, go on then.
I disagree. I don't think it's big news. I think you two are making it big news. It's just,
whoa! If I'm being honest, listeners, and I was talking to one of my students about this earlier because his name is I don't know, I can't say his name for legal reasons, but he's a year 10 lad. He's in my media studies class, and he's a massive Lamar Jackson fan. I kid you not. He wants to join our flag football team as the school, and he wants to be the quarterback because he literally loves off of Lamar Jackson. So if you're listening, this one's out to you. And I generally said, like, I've mildly lost my love for the 49ers at this moment in time because of how upset I was with that Super Bowl. This one hurt more than the Jimmy Garoppolo one, and this one hurt more than the Colin Kaepernick one. So in terms of like this being big news in the Bay, I'm not feeling it because I need to see it to be true. So when I say that, I mean, I'm not talking about like the draft or the preseason games. I need to know by week 3 or 4 whether or not this is a really good hire for the 49ers. And I think with the internal hire as a DC position, and then our external applicant that's going to be serving as a advisor, but also assistant head coach. I mean, I know it ended poorly.
As a plan B in case Sorensen doesn't work.
Yeah, and I mean,
he did so well in LA, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he did with the Rams.
But then, all right, take a step back for a second, and we'll go back to like Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick had a horrible time as head coach in the Cleveland Browns. Did that write him off completely?
Agreed.
So I think one bad situation in LA does not permanently put a blinker on head coach, because like you said, he was good at the Rams. He's probably a good assistant coach, like in terms of like working under a head. Don't forget, we have this in the NFL quite a lot, where a lot of the head coaches are great head coaches, and then you see like offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators make that step up, and they're not quite there. But it's okay just being an OC. I was literally about to say your boy in New England. Like, every time he's gone out to be a head coach, he has fallen, and he has fallen hard. But as a assistant coach, as an offensive coordinator, he's quality. Like, I can't think of anyone that's particularly better. And the Patriots were worse off for it when he left both times.
I think it's funny that the Niners replaced the ex-Chargers head coach that went to Washington with an ex-Chargers head coach. We had Anthony Lynn as the assistant coach. He left to follow Adam Peters to Washington. and now we've got Staley.
Yeah.
But I do think he's there as a plan B in case the proverbial S hits the fan with Sorensen.
Yeah. So do you think that speaks more about how Shanahan, as a control freak, sees that defense? Because that was a defense that John Lynch and Shanahan put a lot of money and a lot of draft picks into. I've already kind of decided about like the whole thing about Hargrave. I don't think it's been worth the money that we paid him for. Bosa did not have the season that we paid him for. I don't think it particularly worked out well with Chase Young, and Eric Armstead is ridiculously injury prone as it is. So that's our defensive line right there across the front.
Can I put my 2 pence worth in the Bosa situation?
Yeah, please.
How much preseason did he do?
And exactly, that's my point. He had no preseason because of his holdout, and his holdout went straight down to the wire. I don't think they actually agreed the contract until 3 days before we kicked off, if my memory serves me right.
Because
I remember Shanahan saying, that he would be involved in walkthroughs on the Saturday, in preparation for him to be maybe a part of the starting lineup on the Sunday. So, but that was him again out of choice. I mean, I know holdouts have their positives, they have their negatives. We all have our individual viewpoints on it. Yes, I agree that Bosa deserved the money that he got paid, because I think at that time period last year he earned it. But have the 49ers benefited from it yet? No. Is there a possibility now with an off-season behind him and a pre-season coming into it that he'll be a lot more jacked and he'll look like the Bosa that we saw before him when he was defensive MVP? That's a possibility.
There is a slight effect on that. You say you haven't seen the effects of it yet. Where did you end up? What game did you go to? I say you had yes, you didn't get the golden ticket. But you had a bloody good season. 31 other teams or 30 other teams would go, wish we were there as well. I'd say you had a successful season. It wasn't,
our run defense was
a happy ending, but it was a successful season.
And what I mean by that is, I mean, looking at the metrics, our run defense was one of the worst in the league. Whilst I think a lot of the times last season was our secondary, even though it gets a lot of rag, I do think our secondary improved under Wilkes. I thought our linebacker core, I mean, that Super Bowl completely changed as soon as Greenlaw went out.
Yeah.
Because losing Greenlaw really shifted the momentum, and it felt like Warner was trying to carry that unit a lot more than you would expect him to anyway. And I think losing not making excuses, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and this is one of the worst Chiefs teams in this dynasty as well. That's won 3 Super Bowls. And they're only going to reload, and with the salary cap going up, they're going to get better. And I just think that Super Bowl moment, it hurt. It hurt because the NFC is going to get better. The Chiefs are going to get better. The Ravens are going to come back with a vengeance. Joe Burrow will be back next year. Jared Allen's going to want to go for blood more. And it just felt like this year was this moment for this core group of players. And I know next season's a bigger potential exodus, but I don't know whether or not next year will be all in for this San Francisco team before they will have to go for a huge rebuild.
So I saw a tweet the other day, and I want to know what actually both your opinions are on this. It said, if the Niners had picked Mac Jones, they'd have won multiple Super Bowls.
I am going to agree with that fact, not because I'm a Mac Jones fan, because yes, I am. But look what he did with rookie season. He would have stepped in. He is very much a Shanahan-type quarterback. You are very much a quarterback-friendly offense. And don't deny, you are a very friendly offense because the way you play, the way you set things up. And I do think Mac would have done well in San Fran. And I think he'd do well in the McVay's offense and even I'm trying to think off the top of my head, a quarterback-friendly offense, possibly even a Baltimore offense. I think he would do well because they protect that O-line. That O-line protects the quarterback so well. If you've got a good O-line, which unfortunately you guys do have because of the game you play, because of all that there, you have that. And you had stability in the coaching situation. You haven't had multiple changes. You've hired within. So you're not bringing someone else in who's got different ideas. You're bringing someone up who's got the same ideas or have the same thinking. But, okay, that's fine. But I want to bring in a couple of my ideas, not rip the playbook up and start it completely again, which Max had to do in 3 of his 4 years. 3 of his 3 years he's been in New England. So I do think he would do very well in a San Francisco and an LA, in possibly even a Miami, anyone that looks after the quarterback and who's had stability over the last 3 years.
You're just
And
naming
you know what?
people
I wouldn't.
you're just naming Shanahan disciples here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not again, like, I think it'll still. I mean, Shanahan has worked wonders with less already in San Francisco, and when we're talking about like potential trade offerings and free agents and things like that, it's looking likely like Darnold will move on. Did it come out that he's already looking to leave the Bay next year or for this year?
What I've seen.
Okay, I wouldn't be against like Mac coming in and sitting behind. It sounds really daft because Mac was a first rounder, but then so was Trey Lance. I think Mac would do wonders in that Shanahan offense.
Okay, let me ask another question. To this one's mainly for Phil, but Ollie, you can answer it too. Do you think that the Niners have hired Sorensen instead of Staley? So they've hired within because going outside and hiring Steve Wilkes didn't work last season.
It's the same situation what I just said. You bring someone outside, they want to rip up the playbook that was and bring in their new ideas. Instead of going, right, this worked, I'm not changing that. I just want to implement a couple of different things that's going to have my stamp on things and not make it look like, yes, it's my defense, but the core root of it is still there. I mean, Mac's gone from Josh McDaniels, who's a very good offensive coordinator, to Matt Patricia, who's a defensive coordinator, to Bill O'Brien, who is an ex-head coach and spent 3 years as an offensive coordinator in Alabama.
And also ruined the Texans franchise for a couple of years.
Exactly. So he's had no hope. Look what he did under Josh. So this is why I think Sorensen signing is very good. You get Brendan Stanley, who's right. Okay, I'm going to get the idea of it. If it doesn't work, right? Okay, that's fine. I've got 99% of the playbook memorized now. I know what I'm doing. Right, I'm just going to bring in a couple of things to make it my plays. I think
Staley's there almost at the moment. I think he's almost there as an advisor to Sorensen.
Bounce ideas off.
Yeah.
So,
it's
not a bad idea, but I'll try that.
Yeah, Shanahan, like many great NFL coaches, and again, I'm using that term very loosely, but I'm just going to think about like the Big Bill situation, Parcells, Bill Walsh. These are all head coaches that were control freaks. You only need to read, I mean, you just have to watch the Dynasty documentary about how much of a control freak Belichick was. You only have to look at all the stuff from like America's Game where the 49ers players will talk about how much of a control freak Bill Walsh was.
That podcast series that I can't remember the name of on The Athletic, where they interviewed Shanahan, McVay, Mike McDaniels, Matt LaFleur, and Robert Saleh. That showed how much of control freak Shanahan was.
Yeah, and he's going to want to control all aspects of it. Now, Shanahan is an offensive guy. I don't want to talk too much about the 49ers because this is not the 49er podcast and there's other news I also want to get into. But Shanahan is an offensive guy, but he's also a football guy. And he is very much of the mantra of, keep my friends close, but also like my enemies closer. He likes to control from within. He talks about like the 49ers because he grew up with the 49ers. Okay, this is the whole thing that sometimes we forget about this. Kyle Shanahan's dad was the offensive coordinator when the 49ers won the Super Bowl in '94. Okay, he grew up in the Bay. Christian McCaffrey's dad played for the 49ers. Why do you think it was such a big thing for Christian McCaffrey to be brought over to the San Francisco? Because Kyle knew him on a personal level and as also on a professional level. So hiring within makes perfect sense, because that's exactly what we did with Salah. That's exactly what we did with D'Amico. And, you know, like you said, we got to the Super Bowl, but the whole question around Steve Wilks all season was, is he holding the 49ers back? Does he know what he's doing with that particular team? I mean, how many times did Baby come on the pod with the name Fire Steve Wilks? I sat on the fence with him. I think it was probably right for him to go at the end of the season. I think I might have even said on the pod. My frustrations were kind of like elsewhere this past season, even though we went to we got to the Super Bowl. What a silly thing for me to say. But I think bringing in Staley, he's also quite tight with Shanahan, and is someone that Shanahan could trust on that level. And trusting a defensive-minded coach in your organization, I think he's gonna work wonders with that. You know, and I think what happens next year will be interesting from a Bay point of view.
Definitely.
I think we need to move on.
Yeah, let's roll on to the players. We've got rid of the minor news this week, so let's go on to the slightly bigger news with a couple of players signing. Mike Evans signs a 2-year deal with the Bucks for worth $52 million with a guaranteed $36. Dalton Schultz, which I absolutely love this signing, is a 3-year deal with the Texans worth $36 million. There is rumours that Jonnu Smith is about to sign with the Dolphins for a 2-year deal, and the Jags are reaching a deal to re-sign guard Cleveland as well. These are a couple of news that have broken in the last. I
believe Ezra Cleveland's already re-signed with the Jags.
Can I say, like, I'm genuinely really surprised that Mike Evans stays with the Bucks. I'm really surprised he didn't think about playing the free agency market, because he is a Super Bowl winning wide receiver who is a game changer on any offensive structure. And him coming out, I think it was like last week, talking about wanting to be back on a winning side because he's played with Tom Brady, and he hasn't thrown Baker under the bus or anything, but he's in his 30s now. I think he's a year younger than me. He's in his 30s. He's signing a 2-year extension with the Bucks. Yes, he's been there for his entire career, but I'm genuinely surprised he didn't think about looking at elsewhere in terms of other contenders, whether or not in the NFC, or like maybe if he looks to, not that they would break the bank on him because they don't, but like someone like Green Bay, or you're looking at Detroit, or you're looking at other teams that could need that game-changing wide receiver on that offense, maybe with like a young quarterback or an established quarterback. I'm generally surprised he stayed in Tampa. So that's one of the few moves, one of the few non-moves.
If I'm honest, I think Mike Evans is taking a bit of a hometown discount to stay with the Bucks.
Yeah, I've got that feeling as well.
Don't forget,
I feel like he could have got a little bit more. I don't think it would have been significantly more, but I think he could have got a little bit more if he had played the market.
He's a 10-year veteran. He's always had over 1,000 yards. He's never ducked under 1,000 yards. He's always had at least 10 touchdowns a season. This guy's a Hall of Famer, no matter what. The rumors is that him and Baker are literally talking daily, like saying what's going on. So the rumor is, like, if he signed with Tampa, highly likely is Baker's going to be there. If he didn't sign with Tampa, they were going to go to the same team. They have got that connection over a season. They really do like being with each other.
But the Bucks haven't signed Baker yet. And I did see something with it, saying the Falcons could be a dark horse of signing Baker.
So I've seen that it's 90% they're done. It's just dotting the T's and crossing the I's now. Than that they want
dotting the T's and crossing the I's.
That'd be that as well. I am dyslexic. Come on. That'll be, he's settled there. Him and his family like it down in Tampa. I mean, who wouldn't? It's better weather than it is in Cleveland. They like it there. The organization like them there. They don't have to do stupid adverts in the stadium anymore. It's great. They like it down there, and both parties like it there. You saw probably the best Baker last season than any time he had in Cleveland or Carolina or half a season in LA. It's a good fit for both of them. It is just crossing the T's and dotting the I's now in that situation, I think. And that it will happen. And I do think it's a great deal for Mike Evans. 2 more years. He's probably going to call it a day. he's going to end up in the Bucks Ring of Hall of Fame or Ring of Fame, whatever they call it down there. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. You know, not many players have had 1,000 yards every season they played. I don't even think it's the great Jerry Rice did. So, you know, there you go. I mean, what's your take of this, Payne? Do you think it's a home deal?
Yeah, I was like, I guess if we're being very subjective about it, you take a step back. He's made more money than he will ever spend in his life if he's sensible about it. He's been there since he's been drafted. He's won a Super Bowl. You know, he's probably likely going to be in the Hall of Fame. Would we say he's not Hall of Fame worthy?
Hell no. He's more than Hall
No,
of Fame.
he's definitely Hall of Fame worthy.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So maybe he's just taking it down because he is like almost like a Tony Gonzalez kind of thing, but he's actually won a ring unlike Gonzalez. Maybe he's just staying with them. But I just thought maybe because he's coming towards the peak or the downward peak of his prime. Maybe look to. I'm not saying he would go to like another team in Florida like Jacksonville, but I'm surprised he didn't look at like another team because he did say he was going to, or he was expected, sorry, I should say, that he might test the free agency market, but maybe that was just a bunch of media malabi. But I think he's taken a discount to remain there. His discount's probably gone to Baker as well.
Probably. Dalton Schultz, stay with the Texans. Really good deal this is. I mean, he was after Noah Brown and Tank Dell, he was, CJ Stroud's go-to guy, wasn't he?
Yes.
Hi, Dave.
Welcome, Dave.
Yeah, man. Hola, Dave. Yeah, great signing. 3 years. They're doing something. They're doing something in Texas. Be careful down there. Be very careful. The big news, which has been delayed by about a month now, pretty much was done and dusted there and then. This guy is a Hall of Famer, not only just for his podcast, but for his playing abilities. Jason Kelce has called it a day.
Yes.
Very emotional. The guy's a legend. No matter what you see, legend on and off the field. He's a great father. He's a great family man. Generally, really nice guy. He kept his brother on the straight and narrow. He managed to drag him back into Cincinnati, begged his coach to bring him back in to keep him on the straight and narrow. Otherwise, we could have another Aaron Hernandez situation with Travis, I reckon, because he was into that situation as well.
Yeah, he got involved in a lot of shady stuff.
Yeah.
Dave says, hope you well. Texans look like they'll be a force this year.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think I'm going to call it now.
Texans winning the AFC South?
I was going to say Texans make it to the championship game.
Yep.
Yeah, give that. I didn't realise their high school was Cleveland Heights. That explains New Heights podcast.
They say it at the start of every episode.
But I try not to listen to those 15 minutes because it's pure adverts and promoting stuff.
Yeah, that's why I stopped listening to Talk is Jericho, because the first half an hour is just him doing adverts. I'm going, I just want to listen to you talk about wrestlers. Yeah, I mean, did you watch his retirement speech, by the way?
I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, I watched it and I was like, oh my God, like this is like I felt welling up watching it as well, especially when he talked about like, he just wants to be a good father and that's what he wants to be remembered for. He wanted to be a great husband and a great father. And I went, oh my God, like he is such a great guy. If you think about like the spectrum in the NFL of how like polarizing the Kelce brothers are, not one person can say a negative thing about Jason. People say negative things about Travis, and that's absolutely fine. But like Jason just seems like such a great guy, and I would have loved if he was part of the 49ers. Oh my God, I'd have so many Kelce jerseys.
Yeah,
Dave says,
like I said,
was probably the best retirement speech.
Yeah, because like he literally opened his mouth. He literally opened his mouth, and then he started crying, and he said, "Well, that didn't last long." And I was like, "Oh my God, mate, this means quite a lot." But do you think the reason why it was delayed for so long is because it got leaked that he was retiring, and he wanted like almost like a Brady situation, if you remember, when it was leaked that Tom Brady was retiring, and because somebody else leaked it, he was like, "No, I'm not gonna. I'm not retiring." And then it came out. So like, even though we knew it was going to happen, I think we even speculated way before the Super Bowl that this was likely to be happening. It was still heartbreaking to know, like, he's again Hall of Fame worthy player, and
I mean, he made that Eagles offense. Like, he was
on a team. Go on.
Yeah, Dave says, I think he wanted his time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's your right, isn't it? It's your right to be the one that. And not many players get that. This is what we take for granted sometimes in all professional sports. That not many players have the say on when their career ends. Because if he came out tomorrow and was like going, "Yeah, I'm going to retire," the Eagles would have him back in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. Whilst like we look at the NFL, where like players will be out of the game for 2 years and then they go, "Oh, I'm announcing my retirement." Mate, you already retired. You haven't played in 2 years. Like it's that kind of thing.
You say that Cole Stillers announced his retirement.
yeah, and it's like, honestly, and we look at it like across the board. Like, how many professional athletes get to go out on their terms? Okay, often it's because of other people's terms, like, we're not going to renew your contract and nobody else wants to pick you up. That's when you kind of go, "Oh, well, that's over." But like, he went out as a as not as a Super Bowl champion, but like, he's won a Super Bowl. He's got 2 NFC championships, so he's gonna be remembered fondly. And if there's any player in Philadelphia that deserves a statue after them, it's probably Jason Kelce.
Oh God, yeah.
Dave said a real decent man, friend, player, and was the best in his position. It meant so much for him and his family.
Yeah,
So,
I can't think of a more, and I don't want to keep him pointing. It's just because I just think so highly of him. But like, if you think about like the center as a position, I don't think there's been more of a well-known household name in that position since maybe Jeff Saturday.
Oh God, yeah, probably that one. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you got Dave Andrews, but that's only because he's a Patriot. That's why I know of him. But
yeah,
probably Dave Andrews, probably the next one. I was expecting him to retire. I was expecting 2 centers at the same time.
Yeah,
they're both the same age. That they're drafted in the same year.
Dave does Saturday, Phil. Do you think the tush push is going to be affected by this? Because I think it will be massively.
100%.
Oh yeah, he was the spearhead, literally, because he was the center, and he was like. Kelce could have, I mean, I know he was a center and he was a great all-pro center. Like, he could have played anywhere across that line. Like, he was that powerful. His positional play was always on point. He's one of the only few Eagles players that I don't detest with a passion. I think it'll be massively. I wouldn't be surprised if their O-line looks so different next year, not with personnel, but like how physical they are.
Yeah. Dave says, well, wasn't they looking at banning that? Well, they were looking at it, but I don't think a decision's been made yet. So,
yeah, I don't think that's going to be a priority purely because of there's other things that the NFL are going to be looking into, i.e. certain player contracts, guaranteed money, and also the salary cap going up. So I don't know if that will be really looked at until next year. I think they might review it with a lot more of an eagle eye. But again, it's whatever the NFL and Roger Goodell and the 32 owners decided. You know how I feel about Roger Goodell. He won't do anything unless he's peer pressured by his employers, which are the owners of the NFL.
So, Kelce, ex-running back, and he switched to fullback before redshirting in his initial year at Cincinnati. So, he has an idea of what running backs want and what. Yeah. So, having that push him leading pretty much the tush push, being an ex-running back fullback probably gave them that advantage, and not many centered started as a running back or fullback. Most of them have gone outside in.
Yeah. Dave said Ragnar was quite a big name from, I believe, the Lions.
Yeah, Ragnar. Oh my God, that guy didn't want to be dragged off in that NFC Championship game, did it?
No.
He was battered, and he's like, "No, I'm going back in." It's a fair play. Love that. Jason, we wish you all the best. If you ever want to get us on new heights, please invite us. We'll be more than happy to join you and your brother.
I don't think I'll be welcomed after I've just said that about Travis.
We've all had pops of Travis's girlfriend a few of the times, and I think he's used to it by now. But
I had to take down. I had to after the Super Bowl. I kid you not, and I think I might have told you this, guys. I had a poster because I've got like a music video wall in my classroom because we study music videos. I had Taylor Swift on that wall, and she was next to Debbie Harry, Jerry Halliwell, Avril Lavigne. And the day after the Super Bowl, I literally took it down because where my desk is, it looks directly at the wall of music. And I had to take it down, and I gave a picture of Taylor Swift to one of my year 9s. And
you didn't post it to Ollie. Oh, Ollie, we're gonna have to have a word about him if he's not doing us favors like that.
so
He's going bright red again.
I don't think I've stopped being bright red from the pop you guys had me at the start.
look what you made us do, Hendo. Look what you made us do. You're making us into anti-heroes.
That's we are. Right. I've never known a 48 hours like this where players have been released like this. So let's go to players being released first because it has been crazy. And let's start in Buffalo because they've gone and managed to clear themselves 20 million worth of cap space in releasing Tre'Davious White, Deontay Harty, and Jordan Poyer. And the center, or is it the guard? I can't remember his name now. Just to sign Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. I get it. They need a very passable backup quarterback, but that makes no sense to me. Like, surely you think about maybe drafting one, or because I'm not even anti-Mitch, but like Mitch had his peak a long time ago now.
He is going back to Buffalo. Remember, he was he was at Buffalo before he went to Pittsburgh.
I don't think he's a bad backup.
But what I don't get, yes, I think the Bills situation is the fact that Josh Allen's cap or Josh Allen's contract is massive, and it's like, oh shit, we're now gone past his rookie deal. We are now in, oh crap, this is going to start costing us money situation. Why haven't they gone, Josh? We'll keep you the same money, or even give you a little bit more, but can we just play it, give us a bit more cap space? What good team men do. And I don't know if they tried that and just gone, let's go this way first.
Davis said massive clean out in both Bills Mafia and Mile High.
So let's go to Mile High. Russell Wilson, yes, massive clear out. But yeah, they've got to deal with 88 million worth of dead cap over the next 2 years.
Yeah, it's the other one. It's the other big one that I'm surprised at.
Simmons, that's gone today.
Justin Simmons and Tim Patrick. I've not put Tim Patrick on the thing, but Simmons is the big one that surprised me.
Yeah, so he's the corner that sits opposite Pat Surtain.
Yes.
Is he? I thought he was a safety.
I think he's a corner. He's DB, defensive back that sits alongside Pat Surtain. That's the best way to put it. He is he's pro. He's an all pro. He's not all pro, but he's been to the Pro Bowl. He is a good player. It's strange that, they're going to have. This is the issue now. They've got 88 million worth of dead cap space to try and eat over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get Russ to be traded. Like, oh, please trade before Wednesday. If you're a team, why are you going to want to go, oh, we'll give you a 6th round pick for Russell Wilson when you're going to have to eat majority of his 88 million?
Yeah.
When you can wait until Wednesday and go, there you go, there's 4 million a year.
So here's the thing. The only way a team might do that is if Denver agreed to pay a big chunk of the wage.
Right.
Then maybe.
I can't see them. I mean, they've got 88 million to kill anyway. They're not allowed to use, so they might as well go. I'll tell you what, we can't use that 80 million. We'll give you 20 million. We'll pay 20 million his contract. Just please take it. I can't see it happening. I really can't.
Because I know the Niners were talking to Denver about DJ Jones coming back.
I heard about that.
people are saying if he's going to be cut, why are we trading him? And people are like, because we want Denver to pay most of his salary.
Fair enough. I don't get it. The other one is the Northwest in Seattle. They released a couple of big names.
Yeah, but Jamal Adams wasn't good enough to be being paid what he was paid.
No, and he is injured a lot, but Quandre Diggs is still a good free safety.
Yeah,
Will Disley is a serviceable tight end.
I wouldn't mind the Niners picking up Quandre Diggs, actually.
Yeah, you actually said that in the chat yesterday.
Yeah. Dave said he reckons Lockett might get released too.
Really? You think Tyler Lockett's going to get released?
He's quite old, Lockett, now. He's getting on a bit.
Yeah, but he's going to be WR3 down there. You know, let's put it this way. JSN and DK are going to be 1 and 2, undoubtedly. I think JSN's probably going to be number 1 there.
No, I reckon DK will be number 1, JSN number 2.
Your guys, you've let rid of Isaiah Oliver. What's the situation with that one? Okay, that says a lot on that one.
Yeah, that was the Steve Wilkes fire, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, he was awful.
I'm surprised the Bucks let go of Shaq Bennett. I think that's a shock of a call. I think Shaq Bennett's a bloody good player.
Ollie, what about you guys releasing JC Jackson?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He had a lot of issues. It's only cost us a 6th round pick from LA Chargers. We didn't pay any of his wages. It has now saved us 12 million in cap space. We are now got over 100 million in cap space going into it. Ollie, you saw that Jude was on Good Morning Football. Who are moving to LA? What do you guys think of that?
I don't watch enough of it, and I would think that it would be off in the off season anyway.
It's during the hiatus.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, like with Good Morning Football, I always have it like almost. It's kind of like how I imagine Soccer AM would be over there. Like during the season, it's on, but is there any need for it in this particular dead part of the season where there's not really much going? Like, if we're being really honest, there's not really much going on, and there won't be much going on until probably 2 weeks before the draft, maybe even a week before the draft, and even then it goes dead again until training camps and then preseason. So it doesn't surprise me that it's kind of off air. And then maybe putting it to 2, because isn't it 3 hours now?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe going for 2 hours. I mean, maybe make it a lot more concise. I'm not against it.
2 hours because of the different time zones. So, Dave, just to explain, because you said what happened with the show, nothing's happened, but they announced, was it August?
August.
That they're moving from New York to Los Angeles.
Which if it's, I mean, I get it. You know, for them, it doesn't really matter. Americans, and for most of the world, it's not really going to matter because, we'll just get it at 2:00 instead of midnight.
No, I doubt they'll change the time because they still need to cater for the East Coast, don't they?
Do you reckon they're going to be getting up at 5:00 in the morning and start shooting at 5:00 in the morning?
Rap Sheet does.
Yeah, it does.
Have you ever seen Rap's tweets? I think he never goes to sleep, that dude. Tweets all night. It's mad.
He hears it all at like 7 a.m. and he just schedules them all.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Who's the shocks? Who's the shocks that's been let go?
So I've got 3 big shocks. Justin Simmons is the first one.
Yep.
Another one is Alexander Mattison because now the Vikings literally don't have a running back.
Blake Corum incoming.
Yeah, but at the moment they don't have a running back, and Mattison would have been an okay back.
Oh look, who's not being tagged? Saquon Barkley. Oh look, who's not being tagged? Josh Dobbs. Oh look, who's not being tagged? Any half decent running back in the league.
Yeah.
they've got better running backs than Alexander Mattison, who are hitting the free agency that are going, yeah, if we don't get him, we can get him. And if we don't get him, we're going to get him. And he's still better than who we've just let go.
And to be honest, I'm surprised at MVS because he really picked up towards the end of the season.
Noah's shocked about that. Noah's like, I can't believe they let go of MVS. He had a good season.
Dave said Michael Thomas. To me, he's over the hill and way too injury prone.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that because I thought that the Saints kept him for longer than they would have anyway.
2 seasons. 2 seasons too long. You know, he's played 4 games in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
I'm shocked the Eagles let go of Kevin Byard, KB31. They only picked him up in October. They paid mid-round for him anyway. But why would you let go of that? Yes, your secondary was shocking last year, but he's still one of the best safeties in the league. I'd have him in New England all day, any day.
I mean, the safety free agency class this year is incredible.
You said earlier, yeah.
Rayshawn Jenkins is another one from Jacksonville as well. He's a bloody good safety as well. I really do like him. Take either of them in New England. I really don't like Alexander Mattison. I'm not surprised he's been cut. He fumbles more than he scores touchdowns. I'm not surprised. Jonnu Smith lasted on the free agency all of about 4 days.
Yeah, he's gone to Miami.
Yeah, 2-year deal by the looks of it. What about you, Mr. Pace? Is anyone that jumps out to you?
Yeah. Minshew. Like Minshew mania, brother. How could the Colts literally let go through their fingertips their franchise MVP? Like Minshew mania, brother, has run wild all over Indianapolis. I'm genuinely surprised that they didn't try and reach out to him at least for another year. K1 Alexander in Pittsburgh. I'm genuinely surprised that they've let him go. I was a big fan of K1, like legitimately. I'm surprised that the Browns haven't tried to keep hold of Flacco, even if again just for like another year. Who was another one? Dalvin Cook. I'm surprised Dalvin Cook was allowed to leave. Blaine Gabbert stole a living, like he's completely stole a living from Kansas. Josh Jacobs, considering that they're going for a massive overhaul in Vegas. I'm surprised that Josh Jacobs isn't going to stick around, but then are we that surprised? Who else we got? Tony Pollard. I can't believe Pollard's going to be walking. Saquon, I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised that they didn't try and put more of an effort in to keep him there.
You think with Saquon, it's more him going, enough's enough. I want to at least have a chance to win a ring, ring, then going, I don't care what money you give me, I'll stay.
Holy crap, Teddy Bridgewater's retiring. I didn't realize he was still in the league. I didn't even realize he was still on the Lions.
Yeah, he retired. On to the players have been tagged. I love the Carl Duggar one. I'm going to get out of the way. I'm a massive fan of Carl Duggar. I've got his shirt, as you know. I'm surprised they haven't franchised him. They've transitioned him. So if you don't know, transition tag, Patriots get first refusal. They get to match any offer that is given. Say Sampan went in and offered Duggar $40 million over 3 years, and Patriots go, yeah, you can have him. Or we go, well, we'll give you that as well. Then he'll stay in New England. So that's what a transition tag is. A franchise tag is that's it. You're staying for a year. Done. No more. I mean, the Jags going not taking Jags franchising tag Josh Allen. It means I'm gutted we don't see Josh Allen playing with Josh Allen. Although still get Josh Allen sacking Josh Allen, fumbling Josh Allen, and that sounded really wrong in my head.
What's your view on this? So Dave has said, should we have gone for Michael Onwenu rather than Doug, given all the safeties on the markets?
I think we'll be re-signing Mike Inman. He is high. They are high on him in New England. I think he deserves more than what the franchise tag payment is, and I think it's about $18 million for an O-lineman, isn't it? Top of my head.
Something like that, yeah.
So yeah, I think he's worth all that. And I think they see a long future for him. The news is all the players love the Jared Mayo hype. They're like hiring.
Yeah, Jude was talking about that on Wednesday, actually.
Yeah, I need to catch up on that. I've also seen that he thinks Mac could come back from it all.
I
Is that what you're hearing?
I didn't see it all, but I don't remember him saying that.
How many? Well, seeing what I've read. So the tag players. I mean, obviously Carl Duggar with New England. Ravens keeping Justin Magaduke. I think that's how you spell.
Isn't it Madabi Baku? I thought it was just
Yeah, no, he's a defensive tackle. Bengals keeping T. Higgins, which I'm not surprised about. Colts keeping Michael Pittman. Like I said, Jags keeping Josh Allen. Chiefs are tagging L'Jarius Sneed, but have said he can seek a trade.
Second round, I believe they want.
Yeah. Brian, the Bears have tagged Jalen Johnson. Is that the corner?
Yeah.
Is that the vote? Yeah. And Panthers are tagging Brian Birds. Now that guy is their franchise. He is their franchise player. He's the face of that franchise.
Dave said, did they cut Mixon?
Joe Mixon, I think he's still got contract left in his contract.
I heard they might cut Mixon, but I've not heard anything concrete.
Joe Mixon's contract, he has got a year left on it. He doesn't go to free agency. I mean, if they cut him now, they get a $275,750,000 dead cap. So yeah, I don't think they will cut him. Like, you know, he is a top tier running back. He's not elite, but he's a top tier running back. Be interesting. You know, you're not going to get many running backs for more than $2 million a year. Anyone you think that should have been tagged that wasn't tagged? What about in the Bay? Is there anyone that tagged that wasn't tagged?
No, I wouldn't have tagged anyone in the Bay.
No, looking at the ones that we let go, I mean, Randy Gregory, I would have kept. I mean, I think there's a few that we'll pick up again anyway. Let me just get the 49ers up for a second. Let's have a look.
But for me, there was no one worth the payment we'd give them for being tagged.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really losing too much. Like Ray McLeod on kick returns, but I think they were moving away from that anyway. Selling Farrell, I didn't actually see him do enough. Randy Gregory, I still think we'll pick up cheaper. Chase Young, it could go either way. I'm kind of glad that we've got rid of Kinlaw now. Burks had flashes of brilliance, but not really. Flanagan Falls, again, flashes, but not enough. Isaiah Oliver has been a complete bust, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was Shanahan doing it out of kind of like weird spite because he was a Wilkes guy. Wilkes vouched to bring him in, and all he did all season was flatter to deceive. So yeah, there's no one there, and we've got like a ton of draft picks, and we're going to have like a fat amount of money to be able to spend in free agency anyway. So yeah,
you have about $1 million.
No, we don't. It's going to be a lot of restructure. There's going to be a lot of restructure.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we can restructure. McCaffrey, I believe I've seen.
Yeah.
When we extend Ayuk, I'm assuming it will be backloaded massively.
Yeah.
Which should be up.
What about free agency? Have you heard that Chris Jones is going to be getting a whopping contract?
Yeah,
Chiefs are going to be giving him stupid money. It's probably why they're willing to let L'Jarius Sneed go, because that guy's going to need to get paid because he is a top tier corner in the league. And you very rarely have a high paying quarterback, as you do in Mahomes, and then have two high paying defensive players. I mean, you're getting away in a minute because you've got a rookie quarterback on like $750,000 a year.
Yeah, we've got a rookie quarterback on a rookie minimum.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
but the thing is, everyone's like, you need to extend Purdy. It's like under the NFL PA rules and the CBA, we literally can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danielle Hunter's going to be a free agency. Christian Watkins, the defensive tackle out of Miami, who's a super player, what was it? He's had 17 sacks in the last 2 seasons.
What a
Great.
I
The
thought they might
O-line
have tagged him.
offensive tackle from Dallas, the Tyron Smith, who
Oh,
is a
yeah.
bloody good tackle.
Yeah, but the problem is he's been so injured over the past couple of seasons, and does he deserve the Trent Williams level left tackle money?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be hitting free agency. People are going to need to go, I'm going to give you some money. Calvin Ridley, I'm surprised Jags haven't worked with him because he was superb for them.
So here's why I don't think they did. Because if they re-signed him, then they had to give a higher draft pick to the Falcons.
Okay.
So I reckon they might try and re-sign him. Oh, we've got some breaking news from Dave.
Give it to us, Dave.
The Bears and Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Johnson finalizing a 4-year, $76 million new contract that makes him one of the game's highest paid.
Jesus Christ! Wow.
Yeah.
That's probably the floor for Jerry Sneed now. Then.
Oh, the Honey Badgers signed a new deal with the Saints as well. 2-year deal worth $13 million. That has just been broken by Raps. So Raps broke the Saints news. Oh, go on that one, mate. So these are the free agent safety market coming up. So this here, I put this in the group chat earlier. These are the free agent safeties. Xavier McKinney, Carl Duggar, kind of, Justin Simmons, Cameron Curl, Eddie Jackson, Kevin Wyatt, Julian Blackwell, Geno Stone, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, Darnell Savage, Jeremy Chin, Rashawn Jenkins, Jordan Whitehead, Tracy Walker, and Jordan Fuller. Oh my God, that is probably one of the maddest positions that are available. There's not many wide receivers out there. So let's pay your secondary. Let's give you money to your secondary. That's not just me. So
it's funny though, because the wide receiver class this year in the draft is actually quite strong.
Then you need to be paying your corners and your safeties the money. If if it's that good, they need to be paying that. I'm just looking around some of these agencies. Obviously, you've got Derrick Henry's going to be available as well. I mean, Chase Young's going to be available. Do you reckon you guys would get him on a nice deal if you could?
No, I don't want him. I'd rather give more money to a corner.
There's a Darius Smith.
I mean, I think 4 p.m. on Monday is going to be very interesting.
Yeah. Levante David's another one. Javanian Clowney. He always seems to be in free agency.
Out of the linebackers that are available, the one I want is Azeez Al-Shaair back home.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Jordan Fletcher. No, Fletcher Cox, sorry. Kenny Moore, Curtis Samuel. The list goes on. How many good players there are in this free agency that's hitting? It's ridiculous. I'm going.
And I mean, you've not even mentioned one of the best, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, well, that's a given. Devin White. There are so many good players coming out of bloody Tampa as well. Oh, so Bobby Wagner's another one as well. It's KJ Osborne's another one. You got Shaq Bennett, you got Noah Fant, you got Willie Gay. He's a great player. DeAndre Swift, Odell Beckham, Austin Eckler, Jordan Whitehead. The list goes on and on. How many good players here? Do you know where Gardner Minshew is in the top 100?
Wasn't he like 70 or
90? There is so many good free agents. It's going to be, like Ollie said, Monday they start talking to teams, so the rumors are going to start coming out.
Free agent frenzy is Monday.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, but they start speaking to players as of Monday. but they're not allowed to put anything official in until Wednesday. They can't go, right, sign here until Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Well,
Yeah.
4 o'clock our time, so it's 11 o'clock Eastern time. It's
No,
going
but
to
I
be
mean-
crazy.
Like, if it's announced on Monday, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know, people know, you know, keep an eye on Rap Sheet, keep an eye on Tom Pelissero and Mike. Come on,
Garofalo.
that's the
Garofalo.
puppy.
And Adam Schefter.
Yeah, I always take what Schefter says with a pinch of salt. If someone else retweets it, then I know it's true.
Yeah, he's
Schefter's usually spot on too, I found.
Unless it's a retirement.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to discuss, talk about before we sign off for the night, gentlemen?
Russell Wilson.
We talked about that last week.
Did we?
And we
Yeah.
talked about it in the Russell Wilson cut, getting cut.
Did we talk about that?
Yes. At
Oh.
length.
Yeah, he's going to go to Raiders. I'm just saying it now.
Do you want to know what I've seen?
Steelers.
Yeah.
Him in Pittsburgh.
Oh, see, all right. Let me tell you why him going to the Raiders makes perfect sense. And I might have said it before, but his wife is who?
Just like washed up quarterbacks.
Well, they do like washed-up quarterbacks, but his wife is Ciara.
Ciara.
Something like that,
And if she's in Vegas, it will be a much easier, more accommodating for her to have a residential there, i.e., she will just perform concerts in a consistent hall. It makes perfect sense for her floundering career and his floundering career.
What is she?
A singer.
Singer. Pop star.
Ah, okay.
Early
know.
90s.
Ah, okay.
She was like the R&B equivalent to like Britney Spears.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes over my head. Obviously, I know who Britney Spears is because, you know, it's our era.
Well, we're white, we're white, red-blooded males. Of course, we know who Britney Spears is.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, this show will be live on Spotify tomorrow at 8:30 Friday. As per usual, where you can download it to your heart's content. Please give us a like, a follow, a listen, a download. You know, be very grateful. We are eternally grateful for your support. And we will be back next Thursday, 8:30. It's probably going to be a massive show because news is probably going to be breaking as we go along. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe.